The bruises were impossible to miss once you knew where to look. Purple shadows against brown skin that told a story Raoul Manfred knew by heart. Quick pause. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. If this story has you hooked, hit like and subscribe, because what's coming next is even more intense. He'd seen marks like that before, on his mother's wrists the night his father came home in a rage that ended in blood and sirens. Annette Green had been working at Bellevue for 3 weeks, and in that time Raoul had memorized details he had no business noticing. The way she tucked her hair behind her left ear when concentrating, how her laugh sounded before something stole it away, the exact moment her shoulders had started curving inward like she was trying to make herself smaller. Tonight, when the wine bottle shifted and her sleeve fell back, revealing those 4 distinct fingerprints bruised into her wrist, Raoul felt something click into place, something territorial and absolute. Someone thought they could hurt her. Someone believed they were untouchable. They were wrong on both counts. Whatever was coming next would shock the entire city, but it would start with a simple question. Who touched you, Annette? Bellevue Restaurant, 11:47 p.m. The final guests filtered through heavy doors into the cold Washington, D.C. night, leaving behind the scent of expensive cologne and power. Raoul Manfred remained at his corner table, the one that overlooked everything, the one nobody else dared occupy. He'd been watching Annette for 3 weeks now. Not in the predatory way some men watched women. Raoul had learned the difference young, had seen what that kind of attention did to his mother. No, this was different. This was concern wrapped in curiosity, protection instinct wrapped in something he hadn't quite named yet. When she'd first started, Annette had been vibrant, sharp enough to trade barbs with Marco about wine pairings, bold enough to laugh at terrible jokes, moving through the space with a confidence that made Raoul wonder what she'd look like in his penthouse instead of his restaurant. That fire had been systematically extinguished recently. Now she wore long sleeves despite the kitchen's oppressive heat. Now she flinched at raised voices but never at his. Like some instinct already recognized the difference between men who made threats and men who delivered consequences. Now her shoulders curved inward, her laugh had disappeared, and she moved like someone trying to become invisible. Raoul knew that body language. Had studied it in crime scene photos and witness statements for 20 years. Had seen it in the mirror of his childhood home before his father was finally stopped. Tonight, physics betrayed her careful armor. Annette reached for a wine bottle on the high shelf. The weight shifted unexpectedly, her grip adjusted for balance, and her right sleeve surrendered 2 inches of deep brown skin. Purple-black bruises circled her wrist like a grotesque bracelet. 4 distinct marks where fingers had dug in deep, possessive and deliberately cruel. The primitive part of Raoul's brain, the part that had kept him alive in a world where hesitation meant death, made an instantaneous calculation. Someone had put their hands on her. Someone thought they had the right to hurt what was rapidly becoming his. That someone had just made the last mistake of their life. Annette. His voice cut across the empty restaurant, not loud but absolute. Sit down. She froze mid-step, dark eyes widening. Her hand immediately moved to pull down her sleeve. Please, Dolce. The endearment was soft, claiming, impossible to refuse. She approached his table slowly, calculating retreat with every step, and lowered herself into the chair across from him. Already her mouth was opening with the lie he knew was coming. I'm clumsy, Mr. Manfred. I fell against the counter at home. Her voice was steady, practiced, she'd told this lie before. But her hands shook slightly as she smoothed the tablecloth, and Raoul had built an empire on reading people's tales. He reached across the table slowly, deliberately, and gently caught her wrist before she could retreat. Turned her hand over. His thumb brushed the bruises with devastating gentleness. These are finger marks, Annette. His voice dropped dangerously low. Someone grabbed you hard enough to leave their prints on your skin. Their eyes met. Tell me who touched you. Annette yanked her hand back, chair scraping against hardwood as she stood. I have to finish closing. She was already moving toward the kitchen, her retreat practiced and efficient. Raoul didn't follow. Predators knew when to let prey run, so they revealed their patterns. But he did pull out his phone. Marco. I need everything on Annette Green, where she lived before DC, who she's running from, Why she's hiding bruises that make me want to put bullets in someone's skull. His lieutenant's response was immediate. How deep do you want me to dig, boss? Deep enough to find out who thinks they can put their hands on someone I've decided belongs to me now. 4 hours later, Marco arrived at Raul's office above the restaurant with a thick file and a grim expression. Boss, you sure you want to open this door? Some things, once you know them, you can't unknow. Raul's jaw tightened. Open it. Marco slid photographs across the desk. A man in expensive suits at political fundraisers, shaking hands with senators, standing at podiums with the seal of the Department of Justice behind him. Adrian Keller, 38. Federal prosecutor. Lead attorney for the Organized Crime Task Force. Marco paused meaningfully. Your task force, boss. The bitter irony wasn't lost on Raul. The federal prosecutor investigating his organization spent his free time beating women half his size. The system's golden boy, Marco continued, spreading more documents across the desk. Yale Law. Senate committees love him. Media calls him DC's toughest on crime. Police reports followed, filed and mysteriously buried. Restraining order applications denied. Hospital records showing Annette's broken ribs, fractured wrist, concussion. 3 other women with similar stories, none of which went anywhere because Adrian had connections at every level. 2 months ago, Annette fled while he was traveling for a case, Marco explained. Emptied her savings, changed her name slightly, drove to DC with nothing but clothes and terror. He pulled up photos on his tablet. His phone records show him calling DC hotels, using federal databases to search for her. He's been hunting her for 2 months. Raul studied the photographs of Adrian Keller, the charming smile, the expensive suit, the hand on a senator's shoulder. He'd seen men like this before. Men who wore respectability like armor while rotting from the inside. He's obsessed, Marco said quietly. This isn't about love or loss. It's about ownership. She escaped and he can't tolerate that. Long silence filled the office as Raul processed the information, his mind calculating angles and consequences. Finally, he looked up at Marco. Their justice system protects men like him because he wears the right suit and has the right friends. His voice was ice. Our justice doesn't care about his credentials. He stood, moving to the window overlooking the city. Start compiling everything, financial records, communications, patterns of behavior. We're going to dismantle him piece by piece. Raul turned back to Marco. But first we try it the legal way. Give the system one chance to prove it works. And when it fails? Then I stop trying to do this the civilized way. The following evening, Annette arrived at Raul's office escorted by Marco. She entered calculating escape routes, positioning herself near the door, her posture defensive despite the elegant space. Mr. Manfred, if this is about last night, I apologize for leaving my shift. Sit down, Annette. Please. Raul gestured to the comfortable chair across from his desk. You're not in trouble. But we need to talk about Adrian Keller. The name made her flinch violently, color draining from her face. How do you? She was already backing toward the door. You've been investigating me. I've been protecting you. Raul moved around the desk slowly, hands visible and non-threatening. There's a difference. Keller has been using federal databases to search for you. He's called 18 DC hotels in the past month. He's getting closer. Why do you care? Her voice turned bitter. You don't even know me. Powerful men don't protect women like me. They use us or they hurt us, but they don't protect us. Raul was quiet for a long moment, then moved to the window overlooking the city lights. When he spoke, his voice carried old pain. My mother had bruises like yours. My father was a respected businessman, charity galas, political connections, everyone's friend. Nobody believed her when she tried to get help. He turned back to face Annette. I was 14 when he killed her. I've spent 20 years building power, and for what? If I can't use it to help someone whose only crime was trusting the wrong man, then what's the point of any of this? Something shifted in Annette's expression, the defensive walls lowering fractionally. I'm going to stop Adrian Keller, Raul continued. You can be part of that process or not, That's your choice. But I'm keeping you safe while you figure out if you can trust me. Tomorrow, you're moving into a secure apartment I own in Arlington. You'll have protection, resources, and space to decide what you want to do next. Annette studied him for a long time, searching for the manipulation she'd learned to expect from powerful men. Why should I believe you're any different from him? Because I'm giving you a choice. Raoul met her eyes steadily. And I'll keep giving you choices until you believe that you have the power here, not me. He handed her a smartphone. 3 numbers programmed. Mine, Marco's, and Detective Sarah Morrison. She's clean, handles sex crimes, and she's been trying to build a case against Keller for 2 years. If anything happens, if you feel unsafe even with my people, you call one of those numbers. What do you get out of this? Raoul's smile was sharp and dangerous. I get to watch a corrupt federal prosecutor realize he's not untouchable. And I get to prove to myself that power can be used for something other than building empires. Annette's fingers closed around the phone. 48 hours, she finally said. Give me 48 hours to think. You have all the time you need, Dolce. Just then Marco entered, his expression urgent. Boss, Keller just used his credentials to access the DMV database. He's running searches on DC addresses. Raoul's expression hardened. How long do we have? Maybe 48 hours before he finds her current address. The Second Chances Foundation Gala filled the elegant ballroom with 300 guests. Donors, survivors, advocates, politicians. Annette stood at the podium in a stunning emerald dress, her natural hair styled beautifully, her posture radiating the confidence of someone who'd walked through fire and emerged tempered steel. 6 months ago, I was hiding in a safe house, terrified that my abuser would find me and kill me. Her voice carried clearly through the space. Today, I'm standing here as executive director of a foundation that's helped 63 women escape dangerous situations. Applause filled the room. Behind her, a screen displayed the foundation's impact. 63 women relocated to safety, 28 restraining orders successfully enforced, 19 prosecutions initiated against abusers, 100% of women reported feeling supported and believed. These aren't just numbers. These are lives. These are women who get to wake up without fear. Who get to live instead of just surviving. Raoul sat at a table near the back, deliberately not at the head table despite funding 60% of the foundation's operations. Marco whispered beside him, "You could be up there taking credit." Raoul shook his head, eyes never leaving Annette. "She doesn't need me up there. This is her victory. I'm just privileged to witness it." Senator Patricia Reeves took the stage, announcing new federal legislation, the Survivor Protection Act, requiring independent oversight of prosecutors accused of abuse, creating a database to track patterns of misconduct. This law exists because 1 woman refused to stay invisible and 8 women refused to stay silent, Reeves declared. Later, in Raoul's penthouse, Annette kicked off her heels and settled against his chest, champagne glasses forgotten on the counter. 63 women, she murmured. We've helped 63 women in 6 months. You've helped 63 women, Raoul corrected gently. Don't diminish what you built. Annette looked up at him, something soft and certain in her expression. I've been thinking about us. About what this is. She took a breath. I love you. Not because you saved me. They stood at the window overlooking DC, the same view from 6 months ago, but everything had changed. She was no longer hiding. He was no longer just building an empire. They were both healing, both growing, both choosing each other daily. Silhouetted against the city below. Their hands are joined, his bearing scars from his violent world, hers bearing fading marks from abuse. The image captures both their individual strength and their partnership. 2 damaged people who found unexpected healing through each other. The city that once threatened her now spreads beneath her feet, conquered not through hiding but through visibility and courage. What shocked the entire city wasn't the war a mafia boss declared on a corrupt prosecutor. It was watching a woman everyone had written off as a victim transform into a warrior. It was seeing power used to protect instead of control. It was learning that justice is possible when enough people refuse to look away. And it was discovering that love, real love, means giving someone the tools to fight their own battles, then standing beside them while they do.
If you enjoy watching this, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.